Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here. And, folks, we've been on kind of a bit of a little mini vacation, if you will. We've kind of been covering, basically in honor of National Lampoon's Vacation turning 40 this year. We thought it'd be kind of nice to kind of get in on the action by like, hey, let's finally do what we've been talking about for a long time. Talk about some of the vacation or kind of like theme park slash vacation themed pieces of nostalgia, of nostalgic media we've been wanting to do for a long while. So we started with National Lampoon's Vacation. We talked about dinosaurs. The Jim Henson Dinosaur Show. Which variations on a theme park, which basically is taking a lot of pot shots at the Disney Corporation, which is hilarious. Then we talked about the one we've been really, honestly, pretty much the whole reason we did the thing, Rugrats Vacation. The Vegas Vacation episode of Rugrats. And finally, we've reached the end of this year's journey. We're talking Full House. The house meets the mouse. That's right, folks. We went for the cynical ABC Disney product with dinosaurs, and now the sincere one.
Yeah, it's a track of National Lampoon's is just not literally the happy ending is via gunpoint, and then went all the way to now we're just at full blown just sugary sweet, so wholesome it can give you diabetes.
Yeah, this is the vacation that Clark Griswold envisioned in his head before going into a psychotic rage.
Pretty much. All right. Well, happy to have everyone here tonight. I'm sorry that we were a few minutes late. We happened to be recording in an aquarium, and there's some sharks swimming around us, so we're just going to have to figure that out as we go along. Dragon, how are you tonight?
You think we order a pizza from down here? No, we're doing well. We're talking Florida Disney, which is my kind of Disney.
Indeed. Except, although, did you know, Dragon, that the actual scene that this thumbnail is from was actually shot at Disneyland, not Disney World?
It's crazy how that works, isn't it?
It's magic. Ooh. All right. So, Dragon, this is absolutely my entry point into Full House. This is the Full House episode that I have unequivocal nostalgia for. I watched it pretty much every time it was on when I was a kid. If I was searching through the channels and I saw it was on, I was like, "Oh, there we go!" I barely even know who I barely even knew who the characters were or anything, but I just knew that it was just just showing off the theme parks in a really fun way. So this was the first, I believe it was the first of the ABC tie-ins and the first of many. And I still think this is definitely one of the best. We'll go through it. It's funny, Dragon, because it's with the geographical inaccuracy thing. In episode 1, we're pretty much stuck with everyone's spread out in a different park. It's more or less clean. Then episode 2, it's just chaos. It's we're jumping from park to park. Stephanie gets on a bus, and 5 minutes later, she's back at the hotel. Buses don't work like that at Disney World. So we'll get into all that. Dragon, do you have any nostalgia for this particular episode?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of us, Full House for me was very much, reruns on Nick at Night before eventually, hunkering down, getting maybe the DVD set or what have you. I can't say everyone had that experience, but primarily Nick at Night was my exposure. And when the Nick at Night reruns would come on before I kind of binge from the start, so to speak, I was kind of in the thick of it. This episode's like the end of season 6. That's roughly the period in which we had, we had Jesse with children and everything. So that's essentially my sweet spot for Full House, my introductory point. So this is not the first episode I ever saw of Full House, but it's very much a fondly remembered one, and it's really nostalgic for me because as a kid, throughout the '90s, I would starting I guess through the late '90s, as a kid I would I'd go to Disney on the regular, Disney World on the regular. So, hey, the show that I'm watching is also going to Disney World. This is probably my first one of okay, we actually went to the place, and I've been to that place. One of that kind of little recognition there as a kid. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. So there's a lot of nostalgia in that kind of avenue there.
I will say, looking back on this, there's a couple things that definitely do not fit my nostalgic lens. Specifically, Dragon, I remember the Michelle getting lost thing to be a much bigger deal than it actually turned out to be in the
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Like, I was surprised that whole thing got resolved within the time span of about 10 minutes.
See, I imagine when this aired, they probably would. It was probably like a 2 episodes in one night sort of thing because it would have been really weird if like, hey, here's this
No,
week's
I don't think it
episode.
was, because if you look on the there's literally a last week on Full House, and it's not a previously on Full
No,
House. They
you're
literally
right.
say last week on Full House.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, remember it's a fun last week on Full House because we have like this random thing. Well, it's just Michelle hanging out with the Disney characters. Like last week on like Tigger's like there.
Also, Richard's Victims, you'll be happy to know, I don't think I enjoyed this one quite as much as the Christmas episode, just because I feel like as the characters got older, they also got a little bit more obnoxious. Specifically, Michelle. I do like the way that the Michelle and Stephanie plotline ends. I think it's endearing, but getting there, yeah, Michelle's a little bit of a nightmare in this first half, Dragon. She really is. Like, I am not a
Admittedly,
fan of her.
Admittedly, I can't speak. It's been forever since I've watched Full House. Right, I don't think I've ever binged from start to finish in a long while. Like definitely not in the advent of streaming. But let's just say I can't recall full on, but I think it's probably like an odd, like kind of like an odd man out in terms like Michelle's probably a lot more likable. This is just the thing where per the plot reasons we need her to be a little like a little kind of like of a little mini tyrant. So,
Right, right.
I can't vouch, but I can't vouch for the I can't.
TBH, I am totally on Stephanie's side this whole episode.
I think so. I can't vet it and like confirm like no, it's just like one episode and the rest of it.
Uh-huh.
She might have been like this for all that age for I don't know. I can't, it's been a while. I know there's at least one good. There's one really good episode where she experiences they deal with death on Full House, and I mean
Oh,
that's when
geez.
she's around this age. It's like yeah, that was pretty nice. A nice way of handling that heavy theme, and then Michelle was pretty good in it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just an outlier. Who knows?
All right. Well, as is the case with a lot of these Full House episodes where where there's like something really cool happening, the first few minutes of the episode are kind of rough. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's see. I want to address the comments here. Little Blue, no, we have not addressed the
We're
Aladdin
getting
thing
there.
yet.
We're
Yeah, we'll
getting
get
there.
there. We'll get there. Z and K was in the comments talking about that as well. We also got Kogias. Say John Stamos works for Disney now. He has his own Disney Plus show, and he currently voices. Oh, he currently voices Iron Man. Really? I did not know that.
I'm trying to remember. I know he's voicing Iron Man.
In a kid-friendly Spider-Man cartoon.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. I remember what it is now. It's a Spider-Man. His not Spider-Man. His Amazing Friends, but like kind of some update. I forget they're literally using the same title on that or not. It's like this kiddie version of Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends, but it has like the Spider-Verse crew in it.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Do you know anything about this?
Okay.
It seems fitting to cover Aladdin because there's an upcoming short that's using old Robin Williams audio.
Uh I know that. Okay, so I know Eric. I mean, you remember Eric Goldberg when
Of
they
course, I know Eric Goldberg, Dragon. I didn't recognize the one animator in this special, but if it was Eric Goldberg, I would have recognized him. Gosh darn it!
No, I mean Eric Gold. You remember the story of how Eric Goldberg, the big way he pitched it to Robin Williams. He did the test animation, laid out like Robin
Sure,
Williams.
sure, yeah.
I don't know if maybe that's the footage or not. I don't know if they basically fully animated that footage or not, or what the deal is there. I'm unsure.
Well, I feel like that's pretty dubious, especially considering the 10th anniversary of his death is coming up in a year. So,
Yeah.
almost exactly a year to this day.
Oh, I know this. I mean, it's news to me that they're actually they're doing this. So I don't know.
All right.
This year is the anniversary of Aladdin, though.
That's true. The short will have the genie in it with Robin Williams audio. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, but honestly, I do think that it is a little bit morally questionable. I'll agree with that. At least Full House doesn't have the dark irony the Cosby Show has. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, so let's get started. I was going to say, Dragon, before we got into the comments, I do think that with Full House, whenever we have these specials where we like go on a vacation or something, the first few minutes is just kind of like, it's not bad, but it's kind of like some of the corniest jokes that we get in the episode, and it's just kind of like setting up the premise. So it's like if we can just yada yada past some of the stuff, I would be grateful.
I'm aware of this, Tiki. You don't have to spoon feed it to me.
Okay.
All right, so Jesse's putting the twins to bed, which basically establishes just.
By the way, Jesse has twins now. Hey, okay.
Yeah, and he ended up getting together with Becky and having those grandkids, like his parents.
I love how I literally go from like that Christmas episode in season 2 to this. It's a pretty big progression.
Essentially, have their first kiss to like, hey, kids. All right, so again we have the little cutesy cold open as they tend to have with Full House. And anyway, meanwhile, Vicky leaves for is leaving for work reasons. We establish Stephanie and Michelle having this basically a little middle child syndrome going on here, where Michelle's getting everything she wants by happenstance here. The whole like I want this candy, I want that candy, and the whole thing like she wants the cherry. But nuts make me gag.
Okay, the whole thing blank makes me gag thing, that's what I'm talking about, where it's just like, it is just not a funny joke at all.
I mean, the ultimate payoff is kind of cute. Like, okay, like 3 things can make you gag.
Okay, that payoff is sure.
I'm saying, so getting there is anyway. Okay, so we have this cute gag where Vicky's kissing everyone goodbye except Danny. Out the door. It's really funny. Literally, everyone who walks through that door, a complete stranger. Showing she knows Kimmy, barely knows Kimmy, like not in that way.
Right.
Anyways, of course, then she kisses Danny goodbye. And the point being, at this juncture, I forget when they introduced Vicky, but this is the end of season 6. So they wanted to end big. So we're going to Disney World. There's obviously some Aladdin cross promotion, which is the big business reason to do this episode. But also, okay, we're seemingly going to get Danny hitched. It's a big deal since he's a widower, and we're going to kind of move forward there. It's a big deal. It's a regular girlfriend that he had, and he basically brought up like, why don't you propose to her, Dad? He says, well, no, I have to. Michelle, Bob Saget being wonderful here. Seriously, it's really nice. He's again, being the filthy comedian that he is, he knows how to bring out the.
Well, it's so funny because it's like we got to know him as Danny Tanner, and then we got to know him as like filthy comedian, and then by the end of his life, he kind of like, based on the way that everyone talks about him, it's like it turns out that he was Danny Tanner the whole time.
One could say there's Danny Tanner, and then there's Dirty Dan.
Oh my God.
The antithesis of the squeaky clean Danny Tanner is very cleanly.
Also, anyway. I'm just going to say really quick, this whole setup with the marriage proposal very much feels like a Friends season finale.
It does.
All
right. So the point being, like, well, I have to ask her, and she'd have to say yes. Oh, yeah, it sounds like really difficult. Like, you just have to ask her and she'll say yes.
Also, I'm going to shout out Claude Karinga in the comments really quick, saying, the short, apparently Dragon is a short called Once Upon a Studio, and Claude says they got permission from the Williams family, or at least someone who represents him, in order to use the audio. So that's good. All right.
So, plot.
Yes.
Okay. Jesse and the Rippers. They're playing in Disney World. This will essentially serve as a second honeymoon for Jesse, Rebecca, and they can't bear being without the kids. So the kids are coming along, but that's not all who's coming along, Tiki.
Literally everyone.
Yeah.
Literally everyone.
Like Joey shows up, says, "Hey Jesse, guess what? I'm going to Florida with you. We have this fun together. There's a fun ride."
I do like the delivery of "No, you're not."
No, you're not. Yeah, I am. Like they want us to do the radio show down at Disney. Plus, we're going to simulcast your concert all the way to San Francisco. Then the full family says, like, "Hey, Uncle Jesse, we're going to Disney World with you." No, you're not. Yeah, we are. It's school vacation week, whatever that is. School vacation week is at the very least a weird way of putting summer like summer vacation.
Yeah. I feel like they probably just did that so they didn't have to commit to a particular time frame.
Of course. So anyway, no, like then Wake Up San Francisco's in reruns, and Kimmy's parents just don't care. They want to get her out of the house, so they're going to pay for wherever she goes. And that's a runner that tracks. Their family, her parents. I don't even know if we ever saw her parents. They still want her around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everyone can go, but one person, Tiki. One person is not permitted to go. The most important character in this special is not supposed to be there.
It's Steve.
Steve?
Can I just say, Steve is very much like in the limited screen time he has in this episode, he's kind of giving off some Steve Harrington energy.
A little bit. What about TV Steves?
Right, exactly.
Stevie.
God.
Anyway, yeah, so Steve can't go because he's the boyfriend. That's pretty much the only reason he can't go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway, so the DJ is kind of heartbroken about that. Meanwhile, we have the window seat gag and the whole it makes 3 things can make you gag. Okay, so Tiki, we go to glorious Florida.
Yeah.
We see Epcot. We see the big golf ball.
Indeed. I will say too. I think Epcot gets the short end of the stick when it comes to representation.
We do actually go to one of the pavilions, don't we?
Well, we go to the Living Seas and we go to Germany, but that's it. That's literally it.
I mean, Tiki, I guess they didn't really have to go to Epcot, period. I mean, if they really wanted to, because everyone, you think Disney, here's Epcot in general, I think it's the short end of the stick, Tiki. So, I mean, I think they should be happy with what they got.
You take that back.
No, seriously, no, I'm saying it's underserved, Tiki. I'm not saying it's overrated. I'm saying
okay, good.
I'm saying that when you think about it, all the publicity goes to the other Disney parks. Epcot always gets the short end.
Because I remember as a kid, that was like my one nitpick with this thing was that I wanted to see more Epcot because Epcot always eluded me as a kid. I really couldn't wrap my head around even what it was.
For me growing up, my folks, it was always the undersell of Epcot, and it was very much like they went to Epcot once, probably when I was a baby, too young to remember. It's like, nah, we didn't really care for it. So it was like,
what's funny about Epcot is I feel like the reasons why people don't like it are exactly why I love it, because it's where all the lame stuff is, essentially.
Right. The only thing I really like about Epcot, just from a distance, having not really been there myself personally, is that it has the giant golf ball. It's cool.
World Showcase, man. World Showcase.
I know. That's my nickname for it as a kid. It was always like, what is that?
No, the giant golf ball's name is Spaceship Earth, but I'm just saying the park as a whole, the big value there is World Showcase.
Oh, right. Sure. Anyway, point being, we pass over Epcot, we see the Disney Castle, and then the Grand Floridian. Tiki, you've stayed here, haven't you?
No. Grand Floridian is too rich for my blood.
Didn't you? Okay, what hotel did you stay at when you were
I stayed at Port Orleans Riverside.
Let's see. I thought that was the Grand Floridian. Like thinking when I was watching this, I don't know, because the interior looks.
I'm very flattered that you think I can afford to stay at the Grand Floridian Dragon.
Okay, so fine. Seeing the Grand Floridian, what did you think of it?
Well, me and Ezra actually went to the Grand Floridian to eat one night when we were in Florida together. So I have seen this hotel. It's a very nice hotel. I would say out of the 3 on the Magic Kingdom Lagoon, it's the Polynesian's obviously the best. I think that back in the day, the Contemporary was definitely the most impressive, but I don't think the Contemporary has aged that well. Like it feels a little dated when you're in there. So it's a really nice hotel. But let me just give it up to the random performers who are doing Goofy and Donald, because Dragon, they are doing some killer pantomime.
Right? I mean, it's really good.
They really are. I was
Here's
very
a question. I got a big question for you.
Okay.
Do you think we stuck with the cast members at Disney for the acting roles that we saw here, or do you think we stuck with the cast members? Do you think we casted people playing these roles?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would have to imagine that because the cast members are trained.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the most interesting question is Snow White, because I feel like because Snow White is very much almost like a co-lead in this thing, especially in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would imagine maybe Snow White is like a hired actress. I think anyone in a suit is probably just the employees.
Okay. All right. So one thing I want to mention, the moment we just see like the shots of like the overhead, the exterior shots of the Disney locales. Overall, is you can definitely tell the main reason this was made is like, okay, we want a glorified ad for Disney via ABC programming.
Oh, absolutely.
Is
This thing is just by and large a 50-minute advertisement, no
That's the
question.
thing. It's like, okay, look at Epcot and look at like we want them to go to Epcot. They want them to go to Magic Kingdom, and also we want them to stay at the Grand Floridian.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So they get like, I want them to stay at the most expensive, fancy place.
The Grand Floridian was it wasn't like brand new at the time, but it did come in like I believe over a decade after the Polynesian and the Contemporary. So it was newer than those two.
We should have a deleted scene where Michael Eisner says, "Hello,
Oh my
welcome
god, dude, they
well,
totally should have had Michael Eisner in this.
hello, Tanner family. Welcome to the Grand Floridian." Oh, Michelle, I'm seeing double. Hey, come on in.
Oh my god. All right.
Joey, I'm in stitches. Cut it out.
Okay.
I can't wait for the Rippers to play.
Oh my god. Oh,
Guess
really
what
quick
channel
with
you
the
got?
Rippers, I have a question.
Yeah.
In universe, how big are they as a band?
Well, that's a good question because it always felt like it was just they were like the popular local band of San Francisco. I'm not sure like how. I don't think they ever got a record deal in the show.
Okay, because I'm saying like they straight up like it is like fucking New Year's Eve crowds on Main Street when they're playing the castle. Like I do not buy that a local San Francisco band would draw that big of a
Now,
crowd.
there is a question with that, though. I don't know if I want to get into it now or if I want to hold off.
Let's wait till we get to the
Okay.
actual finale, but
Okay, there is something to factor in there. Point being, so the point of all this is very much glorified. Like, guess what channel you're getting? ABC. Enjoy your rooms.
you can watch the Timon and Pumbaa safety video over and over and over again.
All right. Anyway, so the Tanner family goes out there with the Macaulay Culkin joke. Oh, where's Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
All right, so Disney and Goofy, very well played, presumably by cast members here. Joey's riffing on the Tea Party as we kind of set up that Michelle would love the Tea Party.
I mean, seriously, I love how the costume performers go instantly from like pantomiming the Tea Party to
being very jockey.
Right, exactly. It's very fluid. Like there is an art to that. There really is.
Playing sports, playing some hockey, and it's great. So then there's really cute bit where the twins are like they're kissing Goofy on the nose and everything. It's really adorable stuff. It's like there's that's us selling the Disney dream right there.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Danny gives out itineraries. Jesse goes off to rehearsal. Joey is going to see an animator friend who we're going to gush about later. Danny is preparing to propose. He's going to go for the heart and bypass his brain, which is what Kimmy Gibbler does nonstop.
Okay, really quick, two things to observe here. Number one, I am absolutely the Danny in this situation, Dragon. I have done the itinerary thing.
This is before you need an itinerary at Disney. It's going that far back. This is back in '93, kids.
I have found that the more that you plan, the more room there is for you to be disappointed. So I like to know what I'm doing each day, but that's honestly about it.
Well, that means you're not. That means you're not Danny then, because
right.
The itinerary.
Well, like for example, I'm going to San Diego in a couple months, and San Diego is very spread out. So every day we're going to like a different part of it, and I know which part we're going to. But I'm not like planning out. Granted, I am like Danny when it comes to dinner reservations, though. Dragon, I'm a whore for dinner reservations.
Yep, you're on a street corner for sure.
Also, I just really love the continuity of Dave Coulier knowing an animator and having an animator buddy.
Yeah.
Just because it's just very much like the real life Dave Coulier to do that.
Yeah, I guess Coulier did do voice work. It wasn't like mainline voice where he did he's worked in cartoons a lot.
Right.
A lot of the background characters, and he did impressions, so probably impressionist work.
So it just feels very in character that would be the guy to do the animation stuff.
Oh yeah, love that. So anyway, Michelle's like, "When's the fun gonna start?" Right now.
Oh God.
So he's like singing "Zippity Doo Dah." This is really guys. They're all like single file, like tossing their itineraries in the trash.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we go on the train. The train, Tiki.
Get it right, Dragon. It's called the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Okay, so it's not a train. All right, fine. We go on the
Well,
boat,
no, it's a
Tiki.
train, but I'm saying like give the attraction the proper respect.
All right, fine. Walt Disney Railroad. All right.
Also, so this sequence is very interesting because as I mentioned earlier, the actual Aladdin stuff, like the actual stage in the Aladdin show, is Disneyland. Literally everything else is Disney World, Dragon, but the actual stage that the Aladdin lamp show is taking place on is Disneyland.
Now here's a couple things about this. So if you go on the main street, and before we get into the actual smash where they really are, in theory they're going on their own main street here, and we're seeing this. As a kid, I thought that I was so blown with this. Why can't this ever be there when I go? You know, the closest thing I had was there is like a Sword in the Stone there at the Disney park when I went there. I know it's
in Florida.
Yeah, in Florida there was a Sword in the Stone. You could like pull on the pull
on Main Street.
I think it was Main Street.
Because I know Disneyland they have the Sword in the Stone outside of the carousel, but that's because the carousel is specifically themed to King Arthur at Disneyland. At Disney World, it's themed to Prince Charming, and so that's weird. That's a weird Mandela effect.
It is somewhere in Magic Kingdom. I don't recall where, but there is a Sword in the Stone you pull on, and the theory is, I guess, at a certain number of pulls, you might be able to get the sword out. I don't know. Might be a lie entirely. The point being, there is a Sword in the Stone that is encouraged for you to pull on. So yeah, that's kind of the closest we ever got to something.
Oh no, you're right. There is a Sword in the Stone. It's right out in front of the carousel. I guess I've just never noticed it before.
Okay.
It's not as thematically appropriate as being out front of the King Arthur carousel.
I gotta admit, it does make me wonder if you actually do pull the sword from the stone, what the heck happens? Like, do you become like king for the day or what?
Well, I know that they used to have a ceremony with Merlin, and I think it was literally that. Yeah, like it was like you get your picture taken and be like a king for the day thing. You probably got like a button or something.
See, that to me just sounds all sorts of wonderful. This whole promotion of like, you're like the millionth person to do the thing.
Did I tell you that when I went to Blizzard Beach, I got to be I think it was like the park ranger or something like that, like ranger for a day.
Yeah.
And it was literally because they couldn't find anyone else at Rope Drop who was going to go on the Summit Plummet, because it was all little kids and then me, and I was there specifically for Summit Plummet.
So like already, I gotta admit, like looking at the overhead shot at Main Street, I mean, it does fill me with nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
All right, so then we have then they have the ultimate promo line. That's my kind of house. Look, they use that in every single like. That's my kind of house.
Oh my god! Get Full House season 6 on DVD.
Yep. So anyway, so this episode came out in May of '93. Now, Aladdin came out in November of '93. This is them doing promotion big time. We want everyone and their mother to see Aladdin.
Totally.
On Full House. We had one of the actors from Full House in that movie, and
I love how that's like a meta joke before anyone would even know that was actually Aladdin.
That's the thing. Like they're advertising the Prince Ali song from that film.
Right.
Also, again, the bitter. Well, we'll get to that in a second. The point being, we have the promotion there where it's just like just for the year of Aladdin pre the release. We have like the lamp seller. We have Jasmine. We have Steve.
God. Might I just say, I really love how they just like, it's not, it could have very easily just been like the one joke of like, yeah, we're going to put him in there for a shot because he voices Aladdin. But it's like they run with the whole like DJ seeing Steve everywhere thing.
Oh, that's the thing. They got to advertise. If anyone recognizes this kid from Full House, they got to see that Aladdin movie to
Oh
hear
God.
more. So we're gonna put Steve all over this thing. He's just the goofy guy who eats the food ordinarily, but no, Steve's all over this thing.
Right, right.
Look at DJ's our viewing audience. We want the heartthrob generation. We want all the teenage girls to see Steve when they see that street rat.
And again, with the heartthrob thing, it is very Steve Harrington vibes. It really is. I'm not just saying that because it's another Steve.
Sure.
It's like we're immortalizing the Steve.
So as you probably guess, Scott Weinger is the voice of Aladdin, hence the meta gag there, folks, and it's really nice. So, anyway, we have. It's really cute seeing him in the Aladdin costume, though.
It is. Yeah. Z and K did. He's not here now. He said he couldn't stay long, but he did said he wants to keep a running record of like the voice actors who appear in character. So he says the voice of Dolores from Encanto, I'm assuming, has her own Dolores cosplay. Idina Menzel's played Elsa a few times. Merlin in the sing-along Happy Hauntings. That's some nostalgia right there, Z and K. Not a great Haunted Mansion VHS, but very nostalgic nonetheless. Anyways.
Yeah. So the other thing to mention too is that, from what I understand, so with a lot of this, Tika, when they were shooting this, and I guess in Disneyland it would probably make more sense, but when they shot this, a lot of the appeal was, they cut around that for the whole fantasy element, but I think for at least the majority of while they're doing the event, while they were shooting the episode, you had Scott Weinger there, like in costume, like to really kind of hype up Aladdin.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of this was just like the Full House cast was in character. The reason we had so many crowds and so many shots is like they were like saying, "Hey, we're shooting Full House," and like they had crowds show up.
Okay, yeah, that is totally fair. Yeah,
so that's why
there's also a big crowd shot like during the big "We Lost Michelle" moment, which I'm guessing is a combination of what you just said, and also like the fact that there is such a big crowd does genuinely kind of add to the anxiety of the situation.
There is a dark side to it as well, though, Tegan. I remember this was like in like one of those True Hollywood stories.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. I didn't even want to bring it up, but go ahead. It is a very creepy story.
Yeah, they use the footage from this moment. I forget if they said this happened at Disney World or not. There was a moment where Jodie Sweetin, who plays Stephanie, she was followed into the bathroom by fans.
Yeah, that just literally makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. Second of all, come on, man. Like, what are you doing?
We're at the happiest place on earth here.
Right.
That's the double-edged sword of like Michael Isaac. We want money. Look at them.
But I genuinely just feel very bad for her, just because it kind of adds like a weird metatextual element to the to the Stephanie plot line, because I do genuinely think she's the most sympathetic character in this whole thing, and then to know that she was dealing with that shit,
When you see she's disenfranchised with things in the episode, you can kind of sense it, like,
right, yeah,
has been taken out of it a little bit for there. Who knows?
All
right. Anyway, so we have this great lamp promotion, which I've always loved. This is my favorite, most nostalgic part.
I do remember seeing this parade a lot on like Disney promotions and stuff, like the big genie float, the spinning camels.
Yeah, we just have this stage here. You go up, you rub the lamp, and 100 star the genie will come out, and then basically Michelle wants to go, and they allow her to go, and she rubs it, and then this. It's so simple looking at it as an adult now, but as a kid, always having such a fond memory of this moment. The smoke pours out, and then like you can tell it's like a tarp or something behind him. So how they practically probably
sure, yeah.
I mean, either for the film or the episode, they probably just brought it up, but I think just for the way they probably practically would do this, is they had a big sheet on the genie, smoke comes out, and then amongst the smoke, they probably pull like a lever, like something, like the tarp falls off, and you reveal the genie of the lamp. And with that too, that also adds like that layer.
And this might have been one of the first like views that the public got of the genie's design, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean that, but also remember we see that mug later. So this is probably the marketing engine of Aladdin that really disappointed Ron Williams.
Where
it's like, okay, we don't want to overplay the genie. Giant genie in the center of Disney World.
Literally, yeah.
Or technically land, but you know what I mean. So Michelle is princess for a day. She gets 3 wishes. One of those threes.
And again, Dragon, I'm sorry, I'm very much on Stephanie's side here, where it's like Michelle's literally been catered to the entire episode so far. So it's like as far as I'm concerned, Stephanie rightfully deserves to be in that slot.
So far, she's got a cherry candy and a window seat, Tiki. I don't know if it's necessarily like she got everything.
Well, I'm saying it's the principle of it, though, Dragon. It's the principle of it.
Yeah. So she's gonna get the
I have also, like, when we get to the carousel scene, Dragon, I have been the older, not sibling, but older cousin in the situation of like a little kid wanting to go on a ride over and over, and I'm just like, please, anything else.
You also got to imagine. I imagine this is a meta-contextual thing, where in real life, I think more towards the later years for Stamos, but in general, there's some jealousy and annoyance at the Olsen twins. And you can probably feel like they're riding high on season 6. Their agents are making like gobs of money for them. You know, it's a little thing.
I'm sure that at this point, the weird Mary Kate and Ashley VHS tapes were probably a thing too, right?
That's it. I forget if those are made exclusively after Full House or in the midst of it while they were doing Full House.
I want to say it was in the midst of it,
because
it would
make sense.
Pretty early into my childhood.
It would make sense to be in the midst of it. So probably this is 93 and we're in season 6 and we have, I think, 8 seasons.
Right.
So, point being, everything's coming out Millhouse for Michelle. She's princess for a day, gets 3 wishes, gets around in the parade at the end, and Stephanie's on
I would like to know, like, the legal fine print of what exactly the parameters of the 3 wishes are, Dragon.
Well, we know she can't kill anybody. We know she can't make anyone fall in love. And she could bring people back from the dead, but she doesn't like people. They don't like doing it over there at Disney.
Oh, God.
It's not pretty. They don't like it, okay? No, but I think the parameters just like they'd probably spit anything she asked. They'd probably spin it and kind of like.
I do like how she basically asked for like a god tier fast pass way before fast pass was the thing.
I figured you were gonna really like that and pick up the fast pass thing. Yeah, she asked for the god tier fast pass. No lines whatsoever.
Right.
All right, so let's see. So first wish granted.
Which, by the way, just from a crowd control point of view, I can't imagine how stressful that would be. To be like, okay, the family of the princess wants to go on the ride, guys. We have to fucking let this family on. Well, sorry, we know you've been waiting for like 2 hours.
Well, it probably helps though. It's like she probably has to be there for the family to get the free.
Well, yeah, I imagine she'd have to be there. Yeah, but still.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, Joey's at I love this section for many reasons. A lot of nostalgia here too. So we go to the Disney Animation Building, which I suspect what happened was over the years the animation building shrunk and shrunk to be more of the art of animation attraction, which I loved dearly.
Well, of course, Dragon, we have the great Mushu show that you and I both have a lot of nostalgia for.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I think this probably started off as the actual studio, which then became art of animation with the Mushu thing. Which basically, I think you saw.
I do know that Lilo and Stitch was made at Hollywood Studios, so it's not like the animation side of this park was like totally like nowadays. It's like, yeah, it's absolutely like they need to just get rid of Animation Courtyard because it's not doing anything for the park, But back then, it was pretty full-fledged, like, in full-on animation studio mode.
Yeah, it was that thing where you could see, like, there's, like, one... Do you remember the one room behind glass at all? Like, you had, like, the one where you saw, like, one of the animation desks. So my presumption is that, assuming logically at that time, it was probably more fully fledged than it was, you'd have, like, probably a back area that kind of had sectioned off from the attraction to...
Right, yeah.
Because this is still in the giant, it's in the giant, like sorcerer's hat and everything.
I mean, I know they still have artists that like do the draw characters, but like I'm sure they're not like full-fledged Disney artists or anything.
Well, I mean, art animation is not there anymore, right?
It technically is, but it's very much a shell of itself.
Yeah, it's a shame. That was my favorite thing to do there.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being, though, seeing it in its complete glory here. We have Mark Henn that we reveal that Joey's friend is Mark Henn, animator extraordinaire. To give you a few samplings here, this guy's been there since pretty much the Fox and the Hound era. He's been there almost as long as Lasseter has. He did Aladdin, did Beauty and the Beast, did Belle from Beauty and the Beast specifically, and you kind of tell this in his little animation cubicle. little nook. Emperor's New Groove did Lilo and Stitch, and also he directed the John Henry short, which is really good.
Oh yeah, that's probably his big claim to fame, I think.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's the name. Still as an animator, though. I mean, the tremendous work on Bell. You know, Mark Hen's great. I recognize that name, but I forgot what the specific stuff that he worked on. I figured Aladdin, but beyond that, like, yeah, this guy's he's a journeyman in the finest sense of the word.
Very much so, yeah. So with this whole little bit with the cartoon Coulier, I like it. I think it's charming. I think it very much fits with the Coulier public persona. I do think it's one of the most cuttable things in the special. I think it doesn't really have a lot to add to the overall plot.
Yeah, but
for lack of a better word, like I know this thing's not like steeped in a big thick plot or anything, but
well, they're padding out for a two-parter, so they have to add like.
And I guess they do want to advertise because Hollywood Studios was their new park at the time, and it is kind of a weird park to advertise. So
yeah, they want to advertise, and also they got to pad like two parts. There's also like half Disney infomercial, half Full House episode.
Sure.
But even so, I mean, I thought it was really cute, like seeing Joey's own.
Like, I honestly feel like the whole thing, like, it very much reminded me of the tone of the Mushu show. Actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, and also, you have to. I have to imagine Mark Hen did the animation for that section.
I would think so.
It's good animation too. It's like the head transform, but also it feels very much like, okay. We do not have the budget to fully produce the sushi.
Well, I think the best piece of animation is when he's stretching the hands.
Yeah, no, that's good. But I mean, also his head transforms and like all sorts of sports memorabilia. Anyways, can you draw me a couple aspirin? They have this cute bit where Mark Hen returns as Joey's like talking to his cartoon self, giving him the thumbs up. As
I will say that I like the reality is being pushed in this episode way more than it was in the Christmas episode, just generally speaking. Between the Steve stuff and this.
So parenthetically, I really like Joey's look in this episode. Like he's wearing the shorts, but he's wearing the sport jacket and everything. Anyway, also the Aladdin, the genie mug. He's brought the awesome looking genie mug for the coffee. Well, you want anything to drink, Joe? He says, "Yeah, can I get like one of those big cartoon milkshakes?" So like brought like little mouse buzz. Like, oh no, coffee's fine. Yeah. All right. So after that, to the Mark Hen section there, we're in Epcot.
Yes. We're in Germany, which is not one of the better pavilions. Like, I would think if you wanted to do a romantic sequence, you would pick Italy instead.
But Tiki, what's more romantic than bratwurst?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Philistine? What's more romantic than birds and bratwurst and umpapa?
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I think it's the umpapa, Tiki.
There is a German buffet that has like the cool like Pirates of the Caribbean style like indoor outdoor thing going on that I do want to go to at some point. I gotta admit though, I'm not really a German food guy. Like sausage is fine, but it's definitely not my favorite meat by any means.
What about chocolate?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go to a buffet just for chocolate.
Well, I'm not saying just get the chocolate. I'm just saying amongst the other German foods.
I don't even. I'm sure they probably have some kind of. I don't know. I haven't looked into the desserts there.
There you go. Anyway, also got lederhosen.
Yes. So Danny is very much in the Bernard from the Rescuers Down Under plot line. He's trying to propose, but it is not going well at every opportunity.
Nope. All right. So, meanwhile, Stephanie. So okay, this is the thing. So I rewatching this for note taking purposes. Like, okay, I was excited for the whole Splash Mountain thing. So Stephanie wants to go on Splash Mountain, which was Splash Mountain like created in '93 or what?
Yeah, I think for Disney World it was. I think Disneyland was '89. Disney World I think was '92 or '93. Yeah.
All right, so they're advertising the heck out of Splash Mountain. Stephanie wants to go on Splash Mountain. Michelle wants to ride the carousel first. Which, okay, wants to ride the carousel first. She's a princess. Okay, fine, one time. We're going to circle back there. Meanwhile, we have this cute little Duckburg section.
This was adorable, I thought. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I love Becky here. I don't know. I love how this is staged and everything. Becky's like, crouching down. So, like, too big for this. This town's too big for the two of us. And anyway, they look really cute. And then Jesse shows up, bringing them little Mickey Mouse ears, putting them on there, taking a little snapshot there, and he's going
But
off.
Mickey Mouse ears won't buy Becky's forgiveness, Dragon.
Becky will remember this.
I do think that it is very short-sighted of Jesse to be like, to not even like show up and then automatically be like, oh shit, okay, I gotta bounce, bye.
Yeah, I mean he is determined to make it work though, but as we established, he is no Superman.
You're no Superman,
Well, Superman is a wuss. He wears his underwear on the outside.
That is such a fucking cringe Full House joke, I gotta say.
Yeah.
That is one of those cringy Full House jokes where it's like the audience reaction is just like, you can't imagine that the audience genuinely thought that was a knee slapper.
Yeah. Plus, right now, James Gunn's under fire for the whole he's being
God, James Gunn.
Okay, look, he's not actually under fire. It's just like the fact that everyone's like, give him the shorts. He's being a little coy about like, look, we're working on the shorts.
Apparently, James Gunn is like talking shit about the old Batman movies too. I'm like, that dude just needs to fucking like be quiet. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at this point, James. You're kind of digging your own grave.
Like the public asks better questions and James gives straighter answers. Okay, that's it. Just
right.
Like, are we gonna give him the shorts or not? Like, yes, we're gonna give him the shorts. That's all you need to say. We're gonna give him like the shorts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shorts instead of like, I don't know. We're working through things. Like, it is simple. It's just give him shorts. Don't give him shorts. Ideally, give him shorts. Anyway, so they have lunch plans. They're gonna be great. At least assuming they actually happen, which they're not.
But Jim, it's lunch.
Jesse, it's lunch. All right, so we go to the Living Seas. All the food. There's so much food. Getting bratwurst, going to the Living Seas.
Well, that is appropriate for Epcot, though.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to the Living Seas. Why don't you tell us about the Living Seas?
Yeah, so oddly enough, Dragon, the Living Seas stuff is actually the stuff that sticks out in my mind the most about this whole episode. Besides maybe the Michelle is Lost stuff. Just because I remember for the longest time, Dragon, I wanted to eat at this restaurant so bad just because of the, the aquarium factor.
It'd be really cruel if they serve seafood there exclusively.
They do.
Isn't that cruel?
It is very much a seafood place.
Well, don't you think that's like a cruel thing to do? Of like, hey, aquatic marine life, look what we're eating. Doesn't it feels a little insensitive?
So I do think the comic timing here is pretty funny, where Bob Saget is just like, oh, great.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, where they swim up. Awesome, good timing, guys.
Jesse's with the comb, while he's underwater. It's funny. So, meanwhile, the girls. So Michelle keeps going wants to go on the carousel like after having gone on it 10 times instead of going to Splash Mountain. There's no truth in this, Artiki. I don't buy that for a second. You're going to go to Disney.
I believe it. I believe it because I've been in this situation before, Dragon. I had a little cousin who, I was stuck for one theme park day going on nothing but the kiddie coaster with him. And then another theme park day we were stuck. Actually, I had the same cousin or a different cousin, but the brother of this cousin. And all he wanted to do was go play the fucking carnival games the whole time. So, Dragon, I've very much been in this kind of situation before. I can relate to this.
It just feels so bizarre to me. Like, hey, I'm going to go to the happiest place on earth, Disney galore, everywhere you look. I'm going to go on the carousel, which we can go on like anywhere else in the world.
No, I know. It's like I felt the same way about the carnival games, Dragon. I did.
So logically, you think what happened is okay, Kimmy, you stay with Michelle, and I will go with Stephanie to Splash Mountain. You think that's how they approach it, but
no, Michelle's. Well, I honestly think they just don't want to deal with the lines, and so that's why they have to stick with Michelle.
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, I forgot. They need her. Yeah. Okay, so the point being, they Steph's digging her heels in. They're trying to diffuse the situation there, and trying to talk about finessing Michelle. But they're saying, yeah, she's been a little bossy. Hey, Michelle here's just like, okay, that's it.
They are not being. Can I just say they are not being tactful at all with the whole group meeting thing?
Nope.
Like, they are standing right next to Michelle. It's like, come on, guys.
So Michelle runs off. Bum,
Who
bum,
needs
bum.
them?
Yeah, who needs them?
And like I said, Dragon, I do think that this whole beat of Michelle is lost is, for me, the big plot point that sticks out in the episode to me.
Mm-hmm. So Danny, let's see. So Danny gets the call. The whole
Which
lost.
I gotta call a little bit of BS on, just because, like, did they know that Danny was going to be at that restaurant at that exact time?
Well, he did. I don't know. That's we saw them throw away the itinerary.
That's what I'm saying. That's specifically why it bothers me. If they didn't throw away the itineraries, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Well, they might have looked at it first before throwing it away. Like, oh yeah, I guess at this time he's going to be here.
Yeah, but are they? It's a minor plot hole, but it kind of bugs me.
I mean, Tiki, we have like a whole section where they're in Disney World and yet we're in Disneyland. I think we can give them like, okay, so they were somehow miraculously able to call Danny.
Well, Dragon, I mean, like I said, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get more into the geographical stuff in part 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, considering all of that, I think we're having to come a break on this one. So, bum bum bum, Lost in Disney, part 2. So we have Michelle with the steel band outside the Tiki room, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so they're playing with the steel band. Now, yeah, here's something nice, and this is purely from the advertising because the last thing they want is like children lost in Disney. Oh no, is going to be okay.
You don't really have a moment of her actually being in any sort of peril at all.
We can't have a kid in peril, let alone a kid in peril at the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is like, Snow White's going to save the day. She's going to swoop in. We're going to show that our staff at the Disney parks, should this happen, they're going to give these kids the best experience ever in their lives. They're going to be there for them. They're going to make sure they're safe. It's going to be great.
Honestly, Dragon, realistically, that is pretty much what happens.
Is it that good?
I mean, it's probably not like I imagine that it's not like an actual princess, because like an actual princess, there'd be like crowd control issues. But I imagine there would be like, like a cast member handler person that is very much just going to be like, okay, we're, like just the most accommodating person ever, essentially, in the situation.
Right. So Snow White shows up to save the day and grants the second wish of the tea party. It's like that we're in good hands with Snow White. It's a nice little kind of like you feel it's a good safety net. Make it a nice kind of warm and cuddly. Like, oh man, the Disney cares. Kind of.
You know what, Dragon? I got to admit though, there's one element of Snow White that I just gotta pick a bone about.
What?
The original Snow White, Dragon. She's literally. It's a very disgusting, outdated movie because she's literally. She like the prince is literally stalking her, Dragon. I mean, it's weird. It's weird, right? It's weird.
Well, I mean, though, the fact that like there's no
Dragon. I'm totally kidding. Have you heard Rachel Zegler's comments on Snow White?
No.
She basically fucking just full on hates the original movie. I'm like, well, why did you sign up for the role then?
God.
She's in love with a prince who literally stalks her. Weird.
But yeah, it's the whole thing of like, when they do a cast member, of course, they're not going to cast like a 14-year-old girl to play her.
Right.
All right. So, let's see. So, point being, she's in good hands, Snow White, so that's nice. Meanwhile, Jesse and Joey, they finished the show, but they're trapped in the living seas. Little bowl. What's that little bowl called? Like the little bubble they're doing the radio show on.
I don't know if it's got a name. I don't even really know. I imagine that they probably broadcasted Radio Disney from there.
It's a nice set piece, don't you?
It is, yeah.
Highly impractical, but it's nice.
Also, I'm sorry, I just got to call this out really quick. Kogias says, James Gunn called Tim Burton's Batman awful over a decade ago. They dug up old twist. Who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
Who gives a fuck? Have we not learned from the last time that we dug up decade-old James Gunn tweets? I'm
gonna wager a pretty safe guess of this. Pretty safe bet here. Like, hey, maybe James Gunn said that after The Dark Knight came out. After like, hey, right? We're all blown away by this Batman Joker story. Perhaps that shines the dated one.
I do think that James Gunn, there is some stuff that, I think he could be a little bit more tactful about his PR. But the whole thing where people are just out to just, it very much feels like a witch hunt, Dragon. All right. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm done. Modern politics. Because superhero movies are politics now, guys. Didn't you know that? It's the issue of our day. All right. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He said that before Dark Knight Rises had come out.
Oh. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, before. Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
Anyway, so Jesse and Joey, they're it's a nice, highly impractical, but it's a nice little kind of like confined undersea space with quite a view. And Joey's getting freaked out because he sees a shark. So what's really funny about I imagine this is probably the case for a lot of things with Jesse and Joey, but in this episode in particular, especially given the fact it's kind of a travelogue episode going to Disney World, very Hope and Crosby vibe, for them, at least in the humor.
A little bit, yeah.
Think of the back and forth and how Joey's kind of like obviously playing into a lot of comedic stuff and like citing old comedians throughout Full House with his impressions. It would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, some people are scared of the dark, some people are scared of heights, some people are scared of eggs. Like Joey, like eggs?
Eggs? Okay, Dragon, I have a food allergy to eggs, and eggs are like kind of the bane of my existence when it comes to food. So I'm just going to put that out there. Not exactly scared of it, but they do tend to get in the way.
Tiki,
you don't realize how much stuff has egg in it, Dragon. You really don't.
Tiki, listen to me, buddy. All right.
What?
You're gonna be okay. Okay. Vincent Price can't hurt you. Okay. Egg, you have nothing to fear from Egghead. You're gonna be okay. Okay. The bad Eggman's gone. Okay.
Well, it's not the Vincent Price Eggman I'm worried about. It's the Jim Carrey Eggman.
No, Egghead.
Oh, Egghead. Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it, okay? Egghead, he's not going to cream you with 2 dozen eggs. You're going to be okay.
Oh, my God.
That'd be hilarious. They had someone with an egg allergy go up against Egghead. Where's the Scott Snyder version of that character? That's
seriously? Oh, God.
Oh, not Zack Snyder. I want to see the Scott Snyder version of Egghead. Because he's done Crazy Quilt. I want to see Egghead.
All right.
So, point being, they're kind of trapped. Jesse's going to be late, because Joey's genuinely freaked out.
I will say this is a very justifiable reason for Jesse to be late, and I feel like if he would have just taken the time to explain the situation,
yeah. To be fair, she'd walk away from her really fast, though.
Right.
All right, meanwhile, Becky, she is justifying the state of her marriage to Chippendale.
I think this is probably the most genuinely funny scene in the episode.
I agree. If you overthink it, it makes no sense, but it's delightful.
Well, no, of course it doesn't, but it makes more sense than the whole, Steve being everywhere.
Well, it's a hallucination, though. It's fine.
No, I know, but still.
I was saying that the logic of okay.
I'm just saying between Steve and the cartoon, there's a lot of hallucinating going on in this episode.
We're kind of playing between two things here. Of okay, so we have the cast members just being people. We're playing the cast members in the fantasy sense here in terms of they're actual sentient, just large.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So Chippendale here is just like, look, it's fine. He'll be here. It'll be 45 minutes. All right, fine. You guys like chicken salad? They're nodding yes. He gives them the picnic basket. Like, hey, share. No fighting. Stop fighting. So it's silly. Like, would these men in suits be eating, trying to even eat the food? Like, what logic is that?
I know, right? like they're just sitting down and actually, the fact that they actually have the picnic in full public view without taking off the masks.
Yeah.
That's what's really silly.
That's the thing. Like when you overthink it, but it's a cute. Right. So back to Jesse and Joey. Down in the bubble, we have this hilarious pizza conversation. You're like, "Hey Jesse, you think if I order pizza, it'll get here in 30 minutes?" It's like, well, yeah. Do you think they'll honor the whole 30 minutes and it's free thing? Well, of course they will. It's just the pizza gets down here. It's gonna be all soggy, and then the water's getting in the cardboard. But I'm getting water in my brain talking to you about this sort of stuff.
I'm just thinking how in modern day, how a DoorDash order would work in the same situation.
That's gonna be one desperate. That's gonna be one desperate guy trying to earn.
I know, right? Oh God.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find a scuba suit in record time. I'm running out there. Gonna have to
I'm
punch
gonna
a
have to
shark.
actually buy a ticket to physically get into the park, but you know what? It's worth the 5-star rating. Damn it!
Yep. All right, so Joey, got to ask yourself what you're made of. What if I'm made of shark food? Now we have the Hope and Crosby kind of stuff, and it's like dubbed over as they're swimming out of there. It's like, oh, we're gonna die, Jed. We made it. It's just, oh, good, and he bonks him on the head. All right, so then we're in Toontown.
Yes.
In Toontown, this took me back, the meet and greet area of Toontown. You remember, you've done the meet and greet.
I Toontown is still there at Disneyland, and it actually got a refresh pretty recently that looks pretty great. I never did do the Disney World version of Toontown, which was Mickey's Toontown Fair.
I did.
By the time I got to Disney World, it was already themed to Dumbo Circus.
So, yeah, I mean, this is very on the mind. Have like this little meet and greet area where you have like the characters and like different like lines and stuff, and you go meet them in a little closed off area. It was nice.
Hmm.
So so this kind of like evoked a lot of that. We have like this basically this meeting area retrofitted to be a big old tea party with Minnie, Donald, Alice, Dopey, Pinocchio, and the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. So seemingly like dream come true. She's about to have her big old tea party, but something ain't right. The family's not there. Now we have a sad act break.
So that's what I'm saying, Dragon. I feel like the resolution of this came very quickly.
Well, it did right when they came back from commercial break.
Right, exactly. I mean, like you said, it's like there's no peril, there is no struggle, there is no moment of her realizing like, oh shit, I'm lost in a theme park and I'm like fucking like a tiny little kid. This is not good.
You have to wonder how much that's like the mandate of like Michael Eisner. Like, listen, we can't have any sad faces in Disney. Hello, no sad faces in Disney.
God.
So then, like I say, so much. Imagine Michael Eisner at the table read. I know he wouldn't be actually here, but just imagine this. He's at the table read. He's just like, "What am I seeing here? No, we have to cut out this scene and go right to the resolution." It's like Michelle is sad, and then she is happy. Mickey, set to the theme music, brings Danny Tanner in.
Yeah.
She goes, Daddy.
Danny Tanner, who is clear over in Epcot, gets to Magic Kingdom real quick.
Well, time has passed since you got the cold, though, Tiki.
Do you realize how long it takes to get from Epcot to Magic Kingdom?
How long does it take to get from that?
Like at least an hour if you're lucky.
Huh. Well, again, she was hanging out with the steel band outside the Tiki room, and then she went to this. Like how long does it take to get from the Tiki room to Toontown? I
mean, that's across the park, but it's not going to take you like, whatever.
I read somewhere that apparently there's like a bylaw where like Snow White's not allowed to travel, so this technically would never be able to happen unless they took like a tunnel system or something. But,
well, there is actually a tunnel system.
Well, I know there's like a tunnel system. I'm saying like unless she walked her through that, which I mean, being a princess for a day, I guess she could.
I could picture they should have had a scene where they were going through the utilidors. That would have been a cool behind the scenes thing.
Have you ever seen the tunnel system?
Not in person, no.
I know, not in person. Have you ever seen?
Yeah, I've seen video of it. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You're not important enough for the tunnel system, Tiki. None of us are.
None of us, except for like the minimum wage college workers who use it every day.
Exactly.
No disrespect to those minimum wage college workers, of course. I have a lot of.
We're saying they're far more important than us, Tiki. We're not downplaying college employees,
right?
Anyway, so we have the MICKEY as it's a nice triumphant entry. I was watching this clue like, wait a minute, I'm calling BS here. No Mickey Mouse at the Mickey and his friends tea party, and then there he shows up, and the whole family is like summoned by Eisner himself. He shows up. Anyway, so Daddy, and they're reunited, and then we have like the moral. We do the classic Full House moral here. Like, you think you're really acting like a princess, sweethearts? It's like like princess command. You're trying to be the boss, but the princess is the boss. Bruce Springsteen is the
Oh my
boss.
god. You know what's ironic about that, Dragon, is given Disney's rhetoric to turn princesses into girl bosses.
Yeah.
It's like like Disney very much wants you to think that princesses are the boss nowadays.
They're saying we should put Springsteen in a dress.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So Vicky then expounds the whole thing. Hey, were you acting like a princess that's like worth being admired? And she's like, well, I guess not. No. And then Suzanne.
Or were you acting like Rachel Zegler on the Snow White press tour?
I was acting like Rachel Ziegler on the press. All right. So then,
Weird.
okay, so they invite her to. She invites the whole family to the tea party, and they have a tea party. Here's a question: do you think it's real tea, or do you think it's fully pretend?
I don't know. Maybe it's water.
I saw them like throw sugar in one of those cups.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
honestly don't know. I didn't think that hard about
I
it.
think it's a question of like, is it fake in the logic of the show, or is it fake in the sense of when they shot it, they did not put anything in those cups?
I don't know.
All right, see, we asked the big questions here on Say It Wants to Be an Imagine here. So Steph is like airing out her grievances to Pinocchio. Where's the Justice Pinocchio? I ask you. You know, like we spend the whole day looking for her, and she gets a tea party. All right. So Jesse's at the docks. No Becky, but who's there instead of Becky?
Chip and Dale.
Eating a
Like I
picnic.
said, just chowing down on that picnic, just in full view. They're just taking their lunch break without taking off their masks somehow.
Jesse's pointing in the direction of Becky's. Wait a minute, is that my picnic basket? He takes a little bit of the chicken salad, like like rodents. Like they want to pick a fight with John Stamos.
Oh God.
All right. So Jesse walks into a again, it's the Grand Floridian, man. It looks nice.
It is very nice, Dragon. It is a very nice lobby. And you know what's actually really funny about
what?
You know what's really funny about this whole setup with the piano is that the piano has always been the big thing that draws me to this hotel.
Yeah.
I just think it's so quaint to have a big piano like as a centerpiece of the lobby.
I mean, it makes. I mean, this special sells the heck out of the Grand Floridian. Like we all want to stay there.
I will say that would probably be my choice for hotel, honestly, if I could stay anywhere on property. It is a very nice hotel.
All right, so Jesse plays a little. Becky's mad at him from a distance, and he plays a little song on the piano to woo her back. A little Stamos charm. Meanwhile, we have this amazing parade with Prince Ali, which is a great.
This is a very cool parade, Dragon. It's a memorable one for sure.
Essentially, it's like a sneak preview of the movie. In hindsight, it's like, well, you can't see the scene now, but here's what essentially what it would look like.
Right.
Yeah, it's a flawless recreation. With like all the floats and everything look just like the seat, like the golden camel from the movie and everything. It squirts Danny in the face.
Those spinning camels are still there to this day out in front of Magic Carpets of Aladdin. At least a couple of them.
Huh. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So then we go to the Indiana Jones stunt show. Now I have a lot of the boatloads of nostalgia for this. So seeing it on Full House Replica was like always delightful. Like, oh man, I was there firsthand for that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of this show. I think the actual stunt work is great. Don't get me wrong. The pace of the show, if you actually sit down and watch the whole thing, they spend a lot of time on like guest interaction humor and like guests being volunteers to be part of the stunts and stuff. And it really drags the pace down, Dragon. It really does when you actually sit down and watch the full show.
I gotta be honest, Diggy. It's been forever since I've been there, but I know because of the Muppets Go to Walt Disney World thing that we did have like the volunteer thing. But when I was there, I never remember them picking volunteers or anything. But I was so enamored by the Indiana Jones stuff, I just didn't. I guess
I'm guessing you were probably just enamored by it because the volunteer stuff is too prevalent. I mean, I really think the show would be better if they just cut all that stuff out and just had it be like half as long and just literally just be a run through of all the stunts and that's it.
Yeah. So so we have the Indiana Jones stunt show. Danny's He's got a plan for Vicky later. Meanwhile, we have Indiana Steve.
Yes, yes. Oh my
So
god.
you gotta
Talk
wonder
about a
how.
crossover, right?
Oh, for sure. Now you gotta
I
wonder how.
genuinely I would love to see an Indiana Jones Aladdin crossover. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, it would be. Now you gotta wonder how much of this is like just them cutting away to the stunt guy versus some. You think they train
I
Steve
can't
on the
imagine Dragon, these are dangerous fucking stunts. They
right?
really are.
That's the thing. You'd
I
have to
can't
imagine.
imagine
See,
that the actual stunt work is him.
looking at the footage, it feels like in the wide shot. I mean, even though we are seeing the face of of an Indiana Jones performer, given that we see the guy when he shows up later, the real guy, not the Steve version of him. Presumably, they have a guy that looks vaguely like Scott Weinger, who is basically doing all the stunts, and then we cut to like a quick like little reaction shot of him, and that's probably how we're doing that.
Right, right.
Right. So we have the spiky floor, and then very famously the boulder.
The boulder is very cool in person. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely the coolest part of the show. The problem is it doesn't last very long. It's just, he just runs down the stairway. That's about it. It's an awesome stunt though.
Yep, and the DJ being we have like the most awkward moment in the entire special, but awkward intentionally though, where where he says, "I love you, DJ," and he seemingly
It is very intentionally awkward. Yeah,
Here's the
you're
thing that
right.
kills me about it. Okay, it's like just the utter bone crushing silence of like Steve, no, and then there's like just utter pause, and then the Indiana Jones actor is like, he's like, "Hey, I'm okay," but there's like the fact that no one's instantly like clapping, and like when he shows up, there's that moment of pause where she sits back down, and then they have the applause.
Right, right. They really do just linger on it.
Like, oh god, it's so humiliating. It's terrible.
It's
Yeah.
like cringe before cringe.
And we have like Danny say, "I told you, it's one big boulder, wasn't it?"
God.
That just feels like we need a line. I just feel like, okay, what's something Danny could say? Like, okay, he's gonna say how big the boulder is.
They're walking on a water road at Universal. How about that plane?
Probably gonna be like, okay, Bob, we're gonna need you to improvise something here, but nothing filthy.
Oh God.
Nothing filthy. Don't make any double entendre. We're in Disney. I got eyes over my shoulder, breathing down my neck. Don't tick him off.
Oh my God.
He's got strangler hands, man. He'll kill me. So, let's see. So then Stephanie, she wants to turn in, man. She wants to go back to the hotel, which in the hindsight is ridiculous, given the like one of the next rides they're about to go on.
Yes, that is ridiculous. What else is ridiculous is just the fact that, like, first of all, like, this is really the geography part of the special that breaks my brain a little bit, Dragon, all right? Because she specifically asked Danny to take her back to the hotel.
Yeah.
They are in Hollywood Studios right now. That is even further out from, like, Hollywood Studios is basically, like, behind Epcot. So in order to get to Magic Kingdom, you have to go like all the way past Hollywood Studios, all the way around Epcot, and then like the miles that it takes to go from Hollywood Studios to Epcot or to Magic Kingdom. And I say Magic Kingdom just because the Grand Floridian's in that area. So it's like, did he just like put her on a bus or what? I don't even get the. Like, did she just take the bus back to the hotel by herself? I mean, I guess she could at that point, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, she's a big girl, but by the same token, you're right. She does ask specifically Danny to take her. So, I mean, I think the only logic is that it just takes forever, but they do it that way.
But it's just like, because you got to remember, like, going back to the hotel on a Disney World trip, that's a big time commitment, Dragon.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But it doesn't make sense. So we have a little montage here of all the rides, including Splat. You see Dumbo. We have like Kimmy airing out her shoes, which just reeks to high heaven. Gag. Then we have Splash Mountain, which in retrospect is like, oh man, Steph, like literally the one attraction you wanted to go on, and then everyone's gonna go on it but you. But I guess it's kind of moral though.
Mm-hmm.
So then Test Track, in which Michelle's driving Danny around, which is cute.
It's not Test Track, Dragon. It's Autopia.
Oh.
Or I'm sorry, at Disney World, it's the Tomorrowland Speedway, which I think is a really lame name.
You know what? I always get it mixed up because I think the Tomorrowland Speed was the one that I was on, which is this ride. So I think that's it.
Mhm.
Actually, I keep thinking
Test
it's this
track's at
ride.
Epcot, so if you haven't done
No, yeah,
Epcot,
no,
you
you're
wouldn't
right.
have
No,
done Test Track.
but
Yeah.
yes, you're right though. It's the Tomorrowland racetrack.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. So DJ, they're at the hotel. Again, the geography being like, DJ was just there, and now she's at the hotel, but it's later in the day. How does it work? How does it work? I implore you.
It literally like I'm just gonna resort to the Emperor's New Groove. By all accounts, it doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, Kronk. So, DJ yet again is seeing Steve. Oh god, I need to see like a shrink or something because I'm seeing Steve again. So it's like, oh, meet, and we're both crazy. Look at that. The Kimmy season two. So we have this adorable slow mo run to each other, and Steve just like just trips and he
That
fumbles.
was genuinely a funny bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks so goofy too. I
Honestly,
mean,
it's funny because it endearingly reminds me of myself. I would pull some shit like this.
yeah, I buy it. So anyway, they reunite, and apparently Steve has been hallucinating DJ as well. Only in food though.
Right. I do think this is a little bit of a BS. Like, how the hell did he afford the plane ticket and the hotel? Like, did he get his own hotel room at the Grand fucking Floridian?
Well, Tiki, there's a very simple explanation.
Okay.
He actually is the voice of Aladdin in universe,
Right.
so that's how he could afford all that, or probably they comped him the room and everything. Seriously, a part of me would like to. I think the headcanon of the episode is that maybe he was there as Aladdin for that for that one bit.
Right.
Anyway, so also earlier we had her hallucinating like Prince Charming was him and everything, as we saw with Indiana Jones as well. So we've been kind of building this up. All right, let's see. So they're reunited. Hooray, young love. Meanwhile, let's see. Okay, so Joey is cheering up Stephanie, giving
This is
her
pretty
the
much
big,
like the after school special moment of the episode, right?
yep, the whole like, you feel cheated. I mean, actually, Stephanie, you kind of cheated yourself. I mean, he's right. Yeah, you missed out on Splash Mountain, you dope.
I wish he would have actually called her out on that.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of does, though. I mean, not in so many
Well,
words, but you're right.
he said like you missed your favorite rides. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's there's your moral there. And it was then right on cue after she learned the lesson, Michelle shows up for the third wish, which is to make Stephanie princess for the remaining time of the day and let her ride in the parade. And then, because of the selfless act, Snow White's going to let them all ride. They get to all ride because ABC needs money. ABC needs the Full House crew on all those parade floats.
But I love how it's not just like the family gets a float that they ride on. It's like literally the whole family is like spread throughout the whole damn parade.
Which again, per the marketing department, like, yeah, we're gonna make sure everyone's like it's a Full House actor on each float.
But for realism purposes, this would never fly.
Of course.
Like if there was a contest like this, they would absolutely just be confined to one float.
Oh yeah. Also, let me ask you this: you think I kind of picked up on something once? You think Snow White digs Joey?
Possibly.
I saw some sparks fly. I don't know. Well, at least he's not a prince, you know.
Yeah. Weird.
Okay. So apparently when they shot this, again, it was with the draw of like, hey, we have the Full House cast. It's the 20th anniversary. Oh, I'm sorry. Before that, we have like Stephanie's little oh, Michelle, I could never. Okay. Oh, well, if you insist, sure, I'll take the crown.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 20th anniversary surprise celebration parade that happened in '93. I guess for the 20th anniversary, and you can kind of see like on Roger Rabbit, you have like the surprise like kind of written on the banner and everything.
I believe this parade also takes some floats from Party Gras, which was a very popular parade to promote. Like if you notice, there's definitely especially some of the like the Aladdin inspired floats. They also used in the Disneyland Fun sing along. So I think it was either just Party Gras or they just like they used these parades specifically for or these floats rather specifically for promotion.
I buy it. So, so we see like let's see, Roger Rabbit, which has again kind of a front man. We have we have Stamos and the kids and everything. Beyond that, we have let's see, we have Carmen. We have like the Minnie Mouse Carmen Miranda thing with Steve and DJ. We got we have the Three Caballeros with Danny and Vicky, Joey and Goofy with the giant Jack in the Box Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, on the Royal Mickey float, we got Mickey along with Snow White, Cinderella, and Michelle and Stephanie dressed as Snow White and Cinderella. That's cute. So then we have the big performance at the Disney Castle.
Yeah, and again, I don't really buy that like some random local San Francisco band would draw like all the people to Main Street.
No, but I buy that. Oh my God, it's John Stamos in the front row.
Well, I do buy that. Yes, I do buy that.
Now here's the it kills me. All right, so the first song they sing is like one of the things where it's like that realization, exactly what you just had right now, Tika. It's like, yeah, the Ripper's very much like a
Dragon. The first song they do is straight up lame. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
It is straight up lame.
It's like that. It's kind of like that gut check of like, yeah, this is like a sitcom sort of like okay, they're gonna sing a song, but we're putting on the Disney stage, so by comparison, it looks like this is I don't buy this at all. There's no truth to this. Mm-hmm. Flip side, though, "Dream is a wish. Dream is a wish your heart makes." Plays
it's
really
a great one to go out on for sure.
Of course, not just go out on, to get married to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have like the little proposal, which is via the awesome fireworks show at Disney, which is Vicky, will you marry me? Someone's asking someone named Vicky to marry him. So I'm someone, you know. So Danny proposes, and hey, they're getting hitched. Big obstacle going into season 7.
I'm just gonna say it though. Again, with the realism, this would never fucking happen. Like Disney would not just have like custom made like proposal fireworks at the ready.
Would they? Are you sure Disney's never done that sort of thing? Like, never done like people get proposed at Disney all the time. It never happens.
Like, well, yeah, Dragon. People propose at Disney. Yes, there's a lot of creative ways you can propose at Disney.
But that's what I'm saying. So no one's
literally having your name in the fireworks isn't part of the equation.
They've never attempted that.
Dragon, I don't know. It's probably happened at least once, but I'm just saying it can't just be like. Because this was a very impromptu thing. Like, he literally came up with it, like, within a couple hours. You know what I mean? That's the unrealistic part. If Disney were to pull this shit off, Dragon, you're talking, like, months of planning on Disney's end.
Here's the secret part of the episode. So Stephanie apparently gets 2 extra wishes with her thing since the thing got transferred over. So one of them is like, okay, big wigs at Disney. Mike Eisner is just going to call Michael. Well, Michael, listen, we want fireworks to help my dad propose to his girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Stephanie, look who you're talking to. Look at these mouse ears. Of course I can do that. He very intimidatingly calls
I just love how we've self-inserted Michael Eisner into the special.
And he calls up the imaginary department, whoever's in charge of the fireworks, like, hey, make it happen. And he hangs up the phone. God. He turns on the charm again. Problem solved, mazel tov. Okay.
Oh my God, dude.
Invite me at a wedding.
Michael Eisner, like the coolest guy ever, which he is, but...
Invite me at a wedding. I won't come, but invite me anyway.
Oh my God.
It's an ABC wedding. I gotta be there, but not really. The sad fact is Dan doesn't actually get married to Vicky too. It's kind of that.
Really? Oh my God!
Yeah, it was a thing where by the you can kind of see the writing on the wall with the proposals that she's always traveling, so she wanted to move, and he didn't want to uproot the family, so they kind of dissolved the engagement while they were close to the altar.
Jesus Christ, that's actually kind of depressing for Full House.
It is. I don't remember if Danny ever found anyone else. I think that was pretty much as close as he got. And I think that's like season 7, and it's 8 seasons. So the 8th season, I don't know where we went with that for Danny. But so the point being, we have like Kimmy, trying making moves on Prince Charming, and they're all swaying the fireworks. It's a happy ending.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Richard's Victims. You also do very much like that would be so much money to do that. Disney didn't even have the capacity to do that.
I mean, it'd probably cost like the
Right?
price of
It's
milk.
like we're talking like it is in the plural thousands of dollars to have a 1 hour photo session with Mickey and Minnie if you're having a wedding.
It's already in the hundreds of dollars to have like a lunch at Disney. So
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah,
So
you have to take out a loan just to get a soda at Disney.
God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I feel like I might have been a little bit distracted with the pointing out, like, I feel like I got a little too cinema sins on this. Like, that's not realistically how you would travel. Dang. But
Bureaucrat
yeah,
travel.
I mean, it is very much just kind of a time capsule of the Florida parks at the time, and also just a time capsule of how Disney advertised their parks as well. Like, I feel like it's a perfect amalgamation of just good old fashioned Full House wholesomeness, and then also just pure unadulterated self promotion.
Oh yeah. So again, yeah, I concur with you, man. There's a lot of for me when I look at this thing, I feel a lot of nostalgia, but thinking back to my own trips to Disney. But beyond that, it's like just kind of nice to see these characters like going on location. I mean, a number of shows that have done like the Go Disney World episode, and I don't know, there's something kind of like it's always nice when they get in the voice of the show, and I feel like these characters at this kind of relatable location, kind of outside like the usual house set. For a change, it feels like an event. I mean, look, is it flawless? Is it Yates? No, but is it cute? Yes. And was Full House do well? It does cute well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's see. Just to think the comments here. Richard's victims, of course. Monkey popping in right at the end there. You guys, wait! Chippendale's treehouse is this way.
That's where they pointed. They pointed just in the other direction, so it wouldn't go to the hotel.
Kogias, Richard's victims, Monkey right at the end. Z and K was on. Claude Coringa was on. And also Little Blue. We got a good selection of people this time. Thanks for the engagement, guys. Really appreciate it. All right. Well, folks, it's time to go back to school because summer is over and the vacations are over. And also Hollywood itself might be over. We'll see. They moved Dune, Dragon. They moved Dune. All right. Have a good night, folks. See you later. Weird.